Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Welcome to Miss Nur Huda YouTube channel. Today I would like to show you how to use an e-learning tool called Top Assistant or Table of Period to determine three key elements: starting period, closing period and the closing date. There are the basic informations that you need to record the business informations or business documents on an accounting software called User Business System. This software is used in subject computerized accounting system in Malaysia vocational colleges. Students normally make mistake in keying in these three key elements when recording the business transactions on the User Business System. And now, I would like to show you the homepage display of Top Assistant. There is a section to record the accounting year and transactions, and also there is a section to key in starting period, closing period and the closing date. And also there is a check button or submit button where the student can check the accuracy of the informations recorded. And I will give an example how this is done. For example, in recording the accounting year or accounting period for the subject computerized accounting system, the information is given in the questions. So let's say that the accounting year is the 1st August 2020. So we just key in 1st August 2020 and key in the date according to the format set by the system, 1 August 2020 until the end of the accounting year is 31st July 2021. Alright. As for transactions, key in the batches or when the transactions is recorded. So in this case, it is November. So we just drop down the menu and choose the actual month. So in this case, the actual month is November. So these informations could be acquired from the batches and in which months the batches have to meet, or you can refer the relevant documents. And finally, key in the starting period, closing period and the closing date based on the informations that we have. So each of this information has to be key in the round number. So based on their existing knowledge, let's say a student key in the starting period in 6 and the closing period is 10th and the closing date is 31st July 2019. So once all the document is recorded, click on the submit button or the check button to validate it, and the student will be navigated to the verification sections. And we just click the check button. And here is the student response sections or the verification sections. You can see that the informations recorded earlier has been checked and verified. If it's incorrect, your starting period, closing period and the closing date would be labeled false and cross. Nevertheless, an accurate information would be labeled true and give a tick. So as for the earlier recorded information, the starting period, closing period and the closing date were incorrect. So how is a student able to identify the accurate information for the starting period, closing period and the closing date? And the sections below is a timeline or the table of periods that could help one to determine and understand how the starting period, closing period and the closing date is identified. It is automatically generated by the system each time starting period, closing period and the closing date is recorded. So, the table consists of sections that refers to the months from August to July, and the bottom of the periods refers to the row of periods from 1 to 12. And you can see that November is highlighted by the dark green color, which denotes the actual starting periods for these transactions, that is 4. And next, look at the last column of the periods. Last column of the periods refers to the actual answer to the closing period, that is 12, not 10. And just below the timeline table, the actual closing date has been generated, and the given answer is 31st July 2020, not 31st July 2019. Always remember to compare answer in the student response sections and the table of period sections, and at the bottom of the screen is the actual answer sections, so the students would be able to see the correct answer of the starting period, closing period and the closing date. And then click the back buttons to return to the home page, and the student again can fill the accounting year, transactions, starting period, closing period and the closing date, and last click the check button. And frequent use and the sound understanding of the top assistant tool would help students to automatically identify and come up with these basic informations. These auto-generated sections help students to identify and figure out how the actual response is calculated. And for sure, Top Assistant helps students to identify and understand how to determine starting period, closing period and the closing date better. Hence, reducing the mistakes when recording business transactions and ease any ongoing or completing any business deals. Now, I show you how to key in the starting period, closing period and the closing date in the user business system. Here's in the main page display of the user business system. Click the number 7 on the top of the screen or housekeeping. Select setup and click general setup. The dialog box will appear after we click the general setup, and then key in the company's name, address of the company, and then also key in the ROC number, which is the company's registrations number. And then complete the closing date, the one that identified in the Top Assistant just now, which is 31st July 2020. And then key in the starting periods that we have identified. The starting periods is 4 and the closing period is 12. So we'll see that the accounting year has been auto-generated. It should be similar to the informations for the accounting year that we key in the Top Assistant earlier. So click OK when all this information has been recorded. Alright, hence you can see how using the Top Assistant can help students to key in the basic informations in the user business system, reducing stress and generating accurate business documents.